Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Zambian rights activists have hailed a huge milestone in the country, which of course is a decision to scrap two British colonial-era laws, namely the death penalty and making criticism of the country's leader a punishable offense. President Hakainde Hichilema, whose party was in opposition for over 2 decades, had promised that he would scrap the laws if elected for the top job.
According to presidential spokesperson Anthony Boalia, the two laws have been on the Zambian statute book since the pre-independence era. Zambia gained independence from the British rule in 1964. The southern African nation is home to 18 million people. Let's now bring in Chilufya Tayali, president for Economic and Equity Party, EPP, and it's one of the opposition political parties in Zambia. Thank you very much for joining us, and compliments of the season.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
All right, let's talk about your thoughts, first of all, on this. The executive director of the Center for Policy Dialogue, Caroline Katotobwe, says that the scrapping of the laws would allow Zambians to speak freely. Let's talk about first. This law has been there for the longest time. Now it's being scrapped. How do you think, or how are the people of Zambia reacting to this?
Well, I will start with myself as one of those people that has faced this law. I have been charged about 7-8 times on that defamation of the president. Once with the former president, and about 5 times in the current regime. So you can imagine how I feel. I feel good. It's good that it has been scrapped off. So generally, I think on the general point of view, we are happy that it has been removed because it was there to stifle the voice of the people, especially the opposition.
Sorry, when you say that you've been charged by this law over about 7 or 8 times, give us a clear picture. What is involved? You're taken to court. What are the punitive measures?
Yes, the first time that I was arrested, it was during the time of President Edgar Lungu in the previous regime, and I was arrested and I stayed in custody for 8 days. But of course, they couldn't prolong it in court. The trial started, but they entered a nolle, meaning they discontinued the matter. And during this period of President Hakainde Hichilema, I have been arrested and detained 5 times on the same charge. 5 times on the same charge. The other 2 times, they couldn't take the matter to court. So I have suffered for it, and I'm happy that it has been removed. However, I want to point out one important point that though this has been removed from the penal code, meaning our laws, there are some other laws which those in power can still use to stifle the voice, the critical voice, especially that of the opposition. So we are happy that yes, this is gone, but there are some other laws that we would like to see removed from the penal code because they might just change, the name or the charge, but they will still be following those that are critical to the regime.
Okay, can you share with us, what some of those laws that you're speaking of are? And then also, let's talk about the abolishment of the death penalty in Zambia also. That's also a very important thing that has been done.
Yeah. Yes. For example, if you talk about other laws, we have what we call the cyber law in our country. And this cyber law, has got ridiculous, description, such as, harassment, like if I discuss you on social media in the manner that you are not happy, you can go to, to the police and report me of having abused you. One example that I would give you, there is one guy who is one of the best hair fashionists in our country. And he had, one of the clients came to his to the saloon, and anyway, there was this conflict. And he went on social media complaining to say, yes, you came to my saloon, but I couldn't attend to you because, I was busy. And he said some things. This person went to the police, and this guy was detained. I mean, it is on social media. A guy is called Ben Lombe. So such laws can still be used, to stifle the voice of critical voices, basically. And you have also talked about the abolition of the death penalty. Yes, the death penalty has been removed, which is also very good. But remember, justice is about reparation and deterrence. So sometimes some people are feeling to say, but well, if somebody has committed a heinous crime, should we just let them? So there are some people that have got mixed feelings on that. Really, the country is divided on that one. However, from my point of view, is that we can have these laws and remove them, and we look very good. But if the respect on human rights is not observed, it is useless. Right now, yesterday, I was receiving a report of somebody who was in the cells, and he was beaten to death by the police, and they are covering it. Also, if you just do a simple Google search on Zambia, in terms of police shooting, alleged criminals, I did a search, because when you just told me, I did a little bit of a search, and I tell you, within 3 months, we have had about 12 people, 3 people, within these 3 months, 12 people gunned down by the police. Now, these are suspected criminals. You can't say, yes, they are criminals. I mean, you can only be pronounced criminal until the court says so. But where people are being shot down, gunned down, and yet you are removing the death penalty, and you're allowing the police to kill people willy-nilly, I don't think that is very good.
Wow, there's so many angles to this conversation. I was reading as well how this is going back to the insulting the president, and how in Section 299 of the Penal Code in Turkey, it's also a crime liable to punishment between 1 to 4 years imprisonment. But let's talk about beyond, let's talk about Africa in general, and let's talk about the impact, or how free would you say democracy is thriving? How well is it doing in Africa? Sorry about that. How well would you say the freedom in Africa, democracy is faring in Africa?
Frankly speaking, we have a lot to do in Africa in terms of freedoms of expression. And these are fundamental rights which are supposed to be respected, by all leaders in Africa. But this is one of the biggest problems that we have in terms of our democracy. I mean, I am a Pan-Africanist, and I take interest to read what is happening in other countries. Many times you see those that are, wielding power, going against those that are in opposition for basically criticizing them. You don't have to commit a crime when you are in opposition. Just basically what you talk about will land you in problems. And this is happening, across Africa. South Africa seems to be doing well because you see, the opposition coming out strongly talking against the president, at least. But in other countries, including Nigeria, for example, I mean, it is common where you have a number of leaders being targeted for speaking strongly. It seems like when you are challenging, and you have got the support, you have got the people behind you, that itself is a crime. In Africa, the popular you become, the stronger you become as an opposition, that is a crime in itself. That's why you see that most of these leaders or big opposition leaders in different countries are arrested because we don't appreciate the challenge. We don't appreciate, opposition. We want to silence those that have got big voices, critical voices.
I mean, these are conversations that we will further delve into, but thank you very much for joining us this morning to have this all-important conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you. Good day.